I want to be the guy that people looked at. I don't care if you like me or didn't like, I don't care. But it said, this is going to keep coming after whatever the is in front of him. I wanted that. I wanted that. I wanted that worse than anything in the world.
Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Once I got that, it turned my life around. If you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. Wow. Work hard on yourself and develop the skills. Work hard on yourself and develop the graces. All of the stuff necessary to become more valuable to the marketplace. I'm telling you, your whole life can explode into change. Promotions, no problem. Becoming more valuable to the company, I'm telling you, no problem. Money, no problem. Economics, no problem. Future, no problem. If you just go to work on the right thing. Start the process today, latest tomorrow, give you tonight to think it over.
What was the biggest beatdown you've ever had? Whether it be physically or emotionally or spiritually?
I lost my 4-year-old daughter. She accidentally killed herself by accident.
Oh, man.
She on a treadmill. She didn't know how to work it and she got hurt.
Wow.
So after that, I didn't know what to do. And I just didn't know what to do.
How'd you recover from that?
I haven't. I just know in order to make her happy, I have to do good things and be positive.
Yeah.
"68% of the population has an IQ between 85 and 115. The world is not built for those that fall in the low or the high range. Police departments don't allow officers to have an IQ over 125 because they're counterproductive to the system. The military uses an ASVAB score instead of an IQ test. On the low end, a person can score 31. This is about an IQ of 85, and then they decide you're not productive to the system. Those with an IQ of over 125 are often depressed because they understand what's wrong with the world, know how to fix it, but cannot. The 5% of the population that scores under 75% in the IQ level are usually homeless and just don't fit into society at all."
I got $500 in cash in case they don't think.
My confidence comes from looking around at the division. I don't see anything in the division that troubles me, not one of them. They don't move like I move, they don't think like I think, and they don't talk like I talk. That's my confidence.
My grandfather walked 10 miles to work every day. My father walked 5. I'm driving a Cadillac. My son is in a Mercedes. Said my grandson will be in a Ferrari. But he said my great-grandson will be walking again. So I asked him, I said, well, why is that? And he said to me, tough times create strong men. Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men. Weak men create tough times. He said to me, many will not understand, but you have to raise warriors.
No, I walk with the racks on me. Bad bitch run back, and you know she stole that ass on me. I don't want that girl cause she want me, cause the cash on me. Yeah, you know she capping on me. Dreadlock that cap on me. Back then they napped on me. chats on me. I ain't got no snap.
Oh my God!
But one day, you're going to meet someone who appreciates you for who you are. I mean, there's 7 billion people on the planet. I know one of them is going to climb up on a moon for you.
Think of it like this. You are always one decision away from a totally different life.
Keep your head up.
You can't truly call yourself peaceful unless you're capable of great violence. If you are not capable of violence, you're not peaceful, you're harmless.
Let's say that you're betrayed by your partner. You don't want to admit it. Well, no wonder, because all your memories of the past are wrong. Your view of your partner is incorrect, and so maybe your view of human beings and yourself is incorrect. And your future is like, well, hey, it isn't what you thought it was going to be. So God only knows what it is. A worldview adjustment is a major revolution. And and you may not recover from it. That's the other thing. You know, if you're broken, and you can be broken by betrayal, you struggle to find the least amount of repair you have to do to keep your pragmatic prediction system intact. And often that means accusing someone else, because then they have to change and not you. And it means exaggerating one fact at the cost of another as you scramble to maintain your ground.
It's a little dangerous for me to share it because I know how many business people follow you and how many entrepreneurs, but I'm going to share it because it's my truth. The key piece is this. A lot of business builders, a lot of athletes think that it's work harder to achieve more. Well, that's been debunked by science. People's phones are costing them their fortune. You can play with your phone, or you can be monomaniacally focused on being a history maker and legendary. You don't get to do both. I want to remind people of who they truly are, and when they see Nelson Mandela or Oprah Winfrey, they say, they did it. But legendary is simply a testimony to ordinary people who thought differently, felt differently, and did different things, and thereby became who they were. And if they can do it, I can do it if I go all in. The human brain has a phenomenon called transient hypofrontality. The neocortex, as you know, it's the seat of thinking. It's our monkey mind, it's all the chattering, it's the stuff that says, Tom, you can't do it, Robin, you can't do it, what would they think? What if I fail? What if I get laughed at? That's all the neocortex. It's the crown jewel of brain development. Not our primitive brain, crown jewel. But there's no genius in there. Now here's what I mean. When we get away from distraction and we find our Menlo Park, or we go work in a quiet place and we get lost, the neocortex actually shuts down. That's why it's called transient hypofrontality. For a short period of time, our thinking shuts down. The whole model is in the book. And we actually go from brain waves at beta, down to alpha, down to theta, and maybe even delta. And we stop thinking and we go into flow. In other words, the advanced minds of the world, the great geniuses, Galileo, Da Vinci, Steve Jobs, they weren't in the neocortex. They got away from the world for bursts of time, which allowed them to access the human capability we all have to get into flow state and access insights that they went out in the world and then executed on with a world-class team, which totally changed the game. The very nature of being a disruptor and a leader means you're not a follower. And if you're not a follower, then you're not buying the Kool-Aid that society sells you. If you're not a follower, you're not like this all the time looking for likes. If you're not a follower, you dress the way you want to dress. If people criticize you, yeah, they criticize all the great ones.
So I'm a weirdo because I email myself, but I don't do it randomly. I schedule emails to myself 2, 3, 4 months in advance to remind myself of what it is that I'm pursuing, not just this year, but for the next 5 years. And it helps ground me and remind me that I have my own back.